Hello, everyone. This is Alex Kim at 32Soft. We would like to welcome everyone to our quick presentation at this launch. As we've been helping QD users since 2001, we learned that this is the area where a lot of people actually would like some improvements, and specifically this tool helps our customers with three different things mainly. First of all, it is creation of new bill of materials by reusing existing bills of materials in the system. So it allows you to download an existing product structure and then make some change and upload as a new product structure. And also you can replace easily outdated components across the board. So this is another task that a lot of people want improvements in this process. And also you can do a mass updates, whether it's quantity related or any other changes required in the bill of material, whether it's for some of the items or for many or whatever the criteria is you need to make those changes. So,
and thank you, Alex, for that intro. I believe we're going to have Christian do the live product demo at this point.
Hello.
Yeah. Great. So, Christian, if you can start the demo, and what we can do is after he's finished with the demo of the data loader, feel free to ask questions. That's what we're here for. You can basically ask us anything, but today we're focusing on the product structure demo. Christian, you can start anytime.
Hey everybody, so yeah, this is the product structure or 13.5 screen in QAD that we have. As you can see, this is in general we try to keep the same look and feel for all our loaders. So you'll have in the top left filters for used in the download and action buttons here. So I'm already connected to our test environment. I will do a download of this parent structure. So I can quickly see the structure as of today. I can really quick make a copy of this structure. Let's say that I want to have a new structure starting May 1st that I'll have 2 of each per. So first I can just quickly expire this at the end of the month. I'll click upload. And that's done. When I'll download, it's still the as of date is today, so I can still see this one, and I can now create a new structure, and maybe it has no effective end, and I'll make it so it's 2 per for each starting May 1st. If I download, I didn't change the as of date, so I can still see the old one, but if I make it 519, let's say, I should see the new structure just like that. So just really quick, I could just create and update the structure, and I can do it ahead of time. We can also add new components here as well, and click upload. Also, let me show the error checking before we try to load the data into QAD and push the data into the QAD 13.5 screen. In this case, we validate the data that is correct. So for example, let me say that this is it's a wrong quantity per, and maybe here I'll say that this starts on 6.1 but ends on 5.31. Just something to show mistakes. And you see when we validate, we have the status that there's some problems. We have red cells, they're highlighted in red. And if you hover your mouse over, you'll see the error. We have an overlap because we have a structure actually starting May 1st. Also, we have the problem with the start date is greater than the end date, and this is a decimal. I can use find error to go between from one arrow to another, just in case because there's other fields here on the right and might not be visible. Let me just download again to delete this. And recently we added to this loader the option of downloading all the levels. So right now, as QED just updates one-to-one parent component, when by default when you download, you just download the structure of the parent, but we can download full, and then it will go and explode and find, for example, this component 88100 has a substructure, and then this 88200 also has structure, and then some more. So I can go ahead and change something here in the middle. Just keep in mind that actually when you change this, it doesn't affect just the structure, it affects everything that is used by this 88200. For example, if I change this here and I'll say that this is not 444, it's 555, let's say, and try to upload, I'm expecting actually an error. This is not a good example because this is an alternate. So let me remove this from the product structure actually, because I cannot load alternate. Let me try this. I'm gonna change this to 33 and I'm gonna upload. And it did update everything. All the records that you see here in Excel were loaded into QED 13.5 screen. This actually is, the parent is 88-200 and it uses 33 now of 88-5000. If I download full again, I can see that this has indeed changed. We can quickly run a few reports from here. For example, PS inquiry, which will show me the same pretty much, but just this is the report from QED 13.6. And for example, I can use 88100. Well, I can check where this is used, 88-4000 with a 13.7 where used inquiry. Another way to use this really quick, let me see, instead of starting from the parent, I will try to download starting from the component and see where this component is used, download all the structures, and let me actually make it as of today, and I will download. So we can see that this 88-4000 component is used in these 4 structures, and I can quickly change it so maybe it's gonna be 6 used everywhere. And then if I download, I can see that the quantity has changed. I think this is pretty much all in a nutshell. It's a quick loader, actually.
Yeah. Thank you, Christian. Just a quick note, as Christian just showed how you can update quantity per for some selected component across the board. So to replace the component, for example, if in case this component is being replaced by a newer palette, for example, and all you have to do is basically just, with this block, you have to just, set the expiry date and then copy the entire set of records and paste with the new component number, right? And then make sure the start date will be actually, something like that, exactly. And start effective date will be a new starting date, and then you can remove the end effective.
And maybe it's 5 instead of 6 of the other component.
Yep, and then just upload.
Yeah, and then click upload. I'm not sure if this component is a valid component. I just put some number in there. So.
It's okay. Yeah, just for the sake of time. Yeah.
Actually, it is, but there's conflict with. So it's already in these parents.
Right. No worries.
But that's the idea behind it. Thanks for mentioning that.
Thank you, Christian. For the sake of time, I just skip it because this session is 20-minute session. We understand how valuable time is for everyone. So first comment and question: what error reporting is reported back if, for example, you use a component item that doesn't exist in the database. So in other words, yeah, the question is like how, if you can maybe show if component number does not exist in QID and what kind of error message it'll show.
Can you still see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, so I just tried to add a component which is not a valid item number in QED or a BOM code. So you'll get this error.
And those
We
are the
try to
same
pretty
messages
much,
from
yeah, we try
QA.
to pretty much use the same messages that QED will return when you use the same menu.
Thank you. Another question also related to this one. Did that do a pre-check or it was a real-time error during the upload?
We pre-check, so we do the data validation prior to submitting it to QED. Once we know that the data looks good to us, we'll push it to the QED screen. However, we do check that QED didn't return any other errors, in which case we get that error and return it back to the loader. But in general, we try to pre-validate all the data, so there's no errors during the upload.
There are 5 levels of validation we have built into each data loader. So basically, 3 relate to the preload validation, and then 1 is during the load validation, which is another layer, which is QAD program, maintenance program itself has its own validation, and there's a post-load validation. So we have like 5 altogether, 5 layers of to make sure the only clean data is loaded into QAD, and you don't have a problem with data integrity and all that. So hoping that it answers the question. Thank you.
And the other thing, Alex, just I didn't mention, I went really quick through the load, but when you have errors, nothing gets loaded. So you have to fix the errors. You either get rid of this record or you fix it and load. So nothing gets, we don't load partially. So there's no question about what got loaded and what didn't get, into QED. We don't load anything if there's any errors. And if for any reason we missed any of the validation and QED still didn't like the data and return an error, we undo the transaction. So it's all loaded in one big transaction.
Awesome, thank you. Another question we have, what would happen if record lock exists for the record you're trying to update? Who wants to?
Yeah, for in this case, in this situation, we do check that the record is not locked. So if it were locked, you would get an error that the record is locked. You'll see highlighted in red. So yeah, we do, for most of the loaders, we do check that the locks are. If we miss anything, then QED, it will just wait. We have a timeout for 15 minutes and then we'll just bail. It depends also on the progress backend lock, which is, I think, is 30 minutes or so by default. So yeah, you'll just have to wait for the lock. But again, in this case, for this loader, we do check that the record is not locked before we try to load.
Thank you.
No, I just maybe want to add, missed if Christian mentioned it or not. This loader allows you to prepare changes to your BOMs in advance, right? So if you have some changes coming into effect starting from certain date, you can upload them, you can create them in QED quickly based on the existing data and set start effective date and expire those that need to be expired by the specified date.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you. Any comments?
Yes. No, I think that because these are just short little sessions, we just wanted to give you a taste of what our data loaders can do. And by all means, we do have demo videos. And if you have any questions, please send us an email, and we'll be happy to do a demo session for your team or answer any questions you may have.
Excellent. Thank you. Nathan asked if we can unmute him, so he would ask another question. Let me try to do that. Nate, are you?
Thank you. Do you hear me?
Can. Yes, we
Yes.
can. I wanted to ask if the data loader technology can be used as an interface to, for example, take data from an external system and process into QD through this, or does it also have to come through Excel?
Yes, that's a good question. Last year, I believe it was last year, we introduced another feature called auto load for QAD. So it's a data loader technology that is used in the data loader. So basically, the auto load is exactly the feature that allows you to process internal, external data into QAD without Excel, right? So, and we offer this feature as add-on to existing data loaders. So when there's a system-to-system interface or any consistent data that you receive once in a while or quite often, and the data loader is just like another complexity for this. The data is consistent in the same format, and you're happy with the input more or less, then it's a good candidate for you to automate this process. So we add this auto load in addition to your data loader. So if the problem occur with the input data, so the administrator of this process will receive an email. Like here, as we demonstrated, you get error message, the red highlights, and an error message, like human readable message that you can understand, like why this record is not good, why this data element is not passing validation. So similarly with the auto load, the administrator will receive a human readable message locating where the problem is, explaining what the value is, and so it will be easy for the person to actually to address like what they need to do. And there's a choice how you can reprocess the batch. So you can use the data loader to reprocess the file again, or you can go to your source system and change the code. For example, if the item number does not exist in that other system or whatever, so you can go there and then make some changes and re-export the whole batch again. So the next time it'll pick it up with the good data, and it'll process automatically. So that's how it works. And we have another question here. Roxanne is asking, can we load large numbers of new bills? And who wants to answer?
Yes, but again, that really depends how large is large. We've had, not for this particular loader, but other loaders, we had data sets of 5,000 records for price lists. If from the top of my head, we had a client who was loading price lists for 5,000 records. But really depends on your server, on your how your database is started, if it allows that many records to be locked at the same time, because as I mentioned, we load everything as one big transaction, so all those records will be locked at the same time. So this is something that you can definitely test on your system to see how it goes. We always offer trials for 60 days, and you can just install and try it out on your server.
Yep. Yeah, thank you, Christian and Roxanne, for the question. So yeah, we have a customer who specifically is interested because there's a dedicated person who she creates BOMs like all day long. Yeah, so many changes, and they just rather do those new BOMs versus making changes. So, and that was exactly their question. Okay, can we process hundreds of BOMs at the same time? And the answer is yes. You can just whether it's copy paste or reuse of existing BOMs, you can have them all in the spreadsheet and make sure it's all looking good and do the upload. And it could be dozens or hundreds, whatever number of new BOMs. You can do that.
Yeah, but I mean, in my opinion, it's a little confusing to work with more than one BOM. If you have a really big BOM, just process that one. If you try multiple ones, yeah, unless you want to change a component everywhere, that makes sense maybe to just use and process different for different parents. But for example, here I could just download all the parents from this, so I can upload all these at the same time, even though they're different structures. But everything is really one-to-one, this parent, this component, this quantity. So you can have as many as you want. Of course, you shouldn't go over your database limits of number of records to be locked. And keep in mind that there's other sessions at the same time doing other logs. So our logs will just be on top of that.
Yeah, we have an article explaining the limits of how many records can be updated using the data loaders. Some people do like quite large updates, 15,000, 20,000 records, and it really depends like what you're trying to update, because there's it's not like sometimes it's not one-to-one relation between one record in a spreadsheet may represent 5-6 records in QED database, right? So this is how the number of records is counted, right? So a number of logs actually counted in QED, and you have a limit in your server, like how many you can do. So thank you for your questions, and if anyone has more questions, please by all means feel free to reach us. And at this point, I can see that we can just wrap up this session, and want to thank everyone for your participation and for attending this session. So we want everyone to have a great conference, learn and peer, and yeah, just let us know if we can help. Thanks a lot. Thanks everyone.
Bye.